Hey, what up? It's Tampa Brad back at you with law number 32 of the 48 Laws of Power. Law number 32 is play to people's fantasies. Now, what this law is dealing in is something that I've talked about in a lot of other videos, and it's that when you leave gaps in your explanation of something, you show someone an end result and you show a starting point, but you don't fill in the middle. The human brain is basically, it's an answering machine. If you ask it a question, it's gonna come up with an answer. So if you show an end result and you show a starting point, but you don't bridge the gap in the middle, the human brain is very analytical. So it's gonna wanna know, well, if you started here and you ended here, like two people and a baby, how did those two things come together? That's how we get things like the stork or the baby monster, I don't know, whatever you believe in your culture. So what that allows us to do is, if we do this strategically, we can use little bits of information along the way to play on people's ability to create crazy stories, even about other human beings who are normally they're just normal humans, but they will attribute the craziest attributes to other people, meaning it could be you, if you set it up correctly. And that's what we're gonna talk about and teach you how to do in this video. So, getting into it. When you're setting up a beginning and end result kind of thing, the most important thing is consistency of the message and making it very clear what the end result is. I'm having allergies, so I'm having to itch my nose a lot. But that said, I won't put in the middle of how I got from starting to allergies to not having allergies to having allergies. I don't know, Paul. This is like one phenomenal way to do this is what's called future projection. So if you take a relationship that you have with someone and you want to really get them bought in and really interested in what you're doing. Say you just met somebody, you know you want to do say a business venture with them. You know that the best way to do it is to get them interested in you and to get them chasing you a little bit. The best thing to do is to have someone who, let's say, you meet a businessman out in a bar or club, and you have a lot of young friends and he's looking to meet new people and he's maybe new to the area. You know a lot of people. You can future project things that you guys could do together that will then become cemented in his mind as, oh, we're gonna do this thing together. Oh, but I have to stay in touch in order for that thing to happen. So what that allows you to do is set up potential scenarios with different people of things that you could do that then that person's brain says, oh, well, we have plans to do these things together, so I need to stay in touch with that person. This is how you can do things like build amazing social circles of people who are, in theory, if you just look at numbers-wise, way higher in either dollar value than you as far as net worth, or higher status than you as far as who they have access to or who they know. You can very easily just merge lives with these people and become just a part of their lives and basically just their friends by talking about all the awesome things that you guys could do together. Now, the interesting thing when you start doing this is you'll realize that your responsibility to follow up on those things is actually minimal. It is almost nothing. You have almost no real responsibility to follow up on those things, and it won't degrade the relationship at all. If you stack on top of this, the fact that when you're future projecting, most people will just remember the vibe and they won't remember the specifics of what was talked about. If you layer on top alcohol, on top of having fun, and potentially even some people doing drugs, if you meet somebody out in a social situation where it's like at a bar or club, you have the ability to talk about things you could do and really build a really strong connection where that person is motivated to follow up with you. They may forget the specifics and just remember the vibe and that you were cool and bringing a lot of value to them, and then they're gonna wanna follow up with you in an incredible way. So this really is taking the idea of playing to people's fantasies, and it's not so much conning the person, because if you're gonna do this, you do actually need to be a person who is providing value and is able to do amazing things, and you're gonna really, you just being involved in this person's life is gonna be amazing for them. It might not be in the way that it's initially cast, it could be amazing in a different way, but you have to trust that you're the type of person who can bring amazing value to the other person that you're future projecting with. So in the chapter, Robert Greene uses a lot of examples of old con artists and stuff like that, people who convinced others that alchemy was possible, that they could create gold from base metal, turn lead into gold and stuff like that. But in modern day times, this idea of future projecting and giving people ideas of what you guys could do together is the best way I've ever seen to apply this. It is the way to apply that in 2020. And let me address the, for the responsible people, for you, you're probably a relatively responsible person. I know that when I first started getting into self-development content and stuff like that, I felt very conflicted about doing things like future projecting, even if you're not necessarily going to be able to come through on what you said you were potentially going to do. And that really struck a very negative chord with me. And so what I had to come to terms with and realize is that if you are not future projecting with the other person, someone else is, and not only will they not do what they said they might do in the future. So like, let's say, we could throw this party together. Not only will they not come through on that, whereas with you, you might actually try to make it happen, and whether you can fully make it happen or not, it's no big deal. At least you tried and there's an honest effort there. The other person would not only not come through, then they would use the buy-in that's generated by that future projection to then take advantage of the other person and potentially take from them in a negative way. And I know you're not the type of person to do that because you wouldn't vibe with my content if you were. We're focused on win-win, creating win-win scenarios here. But what this needs to be viewed as is a tool in your tool belt to use for good only. It's a very strong ability when you can future project with someone and create buy-in and a real strong connection with someone, even if they're a high-value person who would typically be very difficult to connect with. So this is a law that you need to be using with caution, and you need to only use it in a scenario where you're going to really be able to bring real value to that person, even if it's a little different from how it was initially cast. People are never mad about when, if you make a plan and that it doesn't go exactly according to plan. People just love having the opportunity to do something together with someone who's having fun, and people appreciate the vibe. If you're a fun and you're a person who's kind of pushing forward and you're future projecting things that are going to be awesome, it's not going to be a negative experience for the other person. It's going to be a great experience. And that's really it for this law. Playing on people's fantasies in 2020 is future projecting, and it's allowing them to make up those stories, like I said earlier, between where you start and where the results and where you wind up showing the results. And social media is a great tool to do that. You can show your starting point and you can show your ending point and allow people to bridge the gap with stories of how you get there. So that said, if you want to see how I do this, follow me on social media at Tampa Brad on Instagram specifically. And then also subscribe to this channel because I'm putting out a lot more of my long form content here. So if you want to see kind of a catalog of stuff I put out, it's all on Instagram in little bite-sized clips. Then if you want to come back over to YouTube and see things longer, that's where this is all stored. So subscribe here on YouTube and follow me on Instagram so you can see both of those and pick really whatever your flavor of the day is. I know you're going to get a ton of value out of it. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, drop a comment below and let me know what you thought. I look forward to hearing from you very soon. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your attention. Peace.